am Dr. Christine Greenwich, and I am the Chief Operations Officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I want to take some time to talk to you about our medication delivery service. We started this service several years ago, and it really came to fruition during the recent pandemic of COVID. We wanted to make sure that our patients can rely on receiving their medication as quickly as they can so that they can maintain compliance with their medication regimen. Upon my arrival here in my role last February 2022, I have been observing our services, and one in particular is the outpatient area for our pharmacy in outpatient services. And what I notice is many people, averaging 70 to 80 people, literally sitting and waiting for their medications to be refilled. At times, I will have conversations with people to find out whether or not they have heard about the medication delivery service. And many of them have no idea that this valuable, very efficient, and very timely service exists. Recently, as recent as just a week or so ago, I had more conversations with people. I noticed that in the waiting area, we had a combination of the elderly as well as some young people who were actually on their phones. And I know that therefore the opportunity for them would be great if they consider the home delivery service. Most of the elderlies, I get very concerned. People come from very far distances to literally come, take a number and wait patiently to receive their medication. And the overall benefit of a home delivery service is, number one, is very reliable. We are partnered with several transportation services to ensure that the medications reach the locations in a very efficient manner. And secondly, I get very well concerned about patients who may be waiting, literally waiting a day or so before a current prescription runs out, meaning that they require refill. And oftentimes, if someone wakes up in the morning, they had planned to come into the pharmacy to get their medication and they don't feel well, then here's the biggest risk, that they run out of the medication and then they become non-compliant. And that can lead to a lot of complications. In particular, medications that may be for cardiac illnesses, for diabetes, which is one of our biggest NCDs. And when anyone run out of these very important medications, it will prompt then a visit to our accident and emergency rooms, because if you're not taking that hypertensive, the high blood pressure medication, if you're not taking the medications for your diabetes, your blood levels are going to be affected. You're going to have very high blood pressure, hypertension, and your blood sugar levels will also become elevated. And we see this pattern often in the A&E. So it's very important that our patients adhere to their medication prescriptions as written, and make sure that they have enough medications always on hand in a timely manner. In our outpatient pharmacy area, we see on an average daily, every day, 500 to 600 people. Compare that number to the numbers of prescriptions or medications that we deliver. Right now, we're averaging about 45 to 50. So you can see the number it's completely opposite in one direction, being very high for folks coming into the hospital compared to a reliable delivery system or service in the communities. So we want to encourage the use of the home delivery service because of number one, I get concerned about our elderly patients. Many of them are using public transportation to come here. They sit sometimes up to 2 hours based on the volume, and we cannot control that volume. We really don't know who will be coming in per day on an average to come to utilize the inpatient pharmacy services. And so I want to say to the public, that if you know your mom, your grandmom, that they venture here to get medications filled, that it really is a safe method so that your parent, your grandparent don't have to come out in the public in this heat. Oftentimes, many times they don't even walk with, let's say, water to stay hydrated and have to navigate a public system of transportation just for medications every month. We encourage the use of this service. It is underused based on the numbers that we continue to see in the pharmacy area on a daily basis. And as we publicize the efficiency and the timeliness of this service, we understand that the numbers will go up. Right now, we're averaging 45 to 50 deliveries per day. And as we get those numbers up, that means less people then will have the need to come into the hospital to get a prescription refill. So we will then use the resources of our pharmacists who are currently now tasked to fill prescriptions in the hospital. We can shift them then to the packaging area to deliver the medications at home.
As Barbadians prepare for the Atlantic hurricane season, here is some basic information for every household. A gallon of water per day per person for consumption to cover about 2 weeks. At the very least, a 3-day supply of dry goods and canned foods. An adequate supply of prescription and non-prescription medication, along with a first aid kit. You will need to stock up on hygiene supplies like toilet paper, toothpaste, and soap. If you have a baby, you should ensure you have extra diapers and wipes, as well as any special food items. You should ensure you have flashlights, batteries, and a portable radio. At this time of year, Barbadians are advised to avoid buying excess meat, frozen foods, and other items that require refrigeration in the event that electricity is lost for an extended period of time. This would result in spoilage and a wastage of money.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Danielle Reed Malilo and I am a general physician, and today we're going to talk about obesity. Obesity is an NCD. An NCD is a non-communicable disease. Basically, that's an illness that cannot be passed from one person to another, such as diabetes, hypertension, or cancer. In contrast, a communicable illness can be passed between one person to another, such as COVID or the common cold. The BMI is the body mass index. Obesity is defined as a BMI over 30 and overweight is a BMI over 25. Your body mass index can be calculated online or at your next doctor's visit.
Hi, I'm Carl Padmore, Public Relations Officer of the Sanitation Service Authority. Maybe you would have witnessed roadkill, or you would have passed the highway or a byway and seen a dead animal. We want you to report it to one of the numbers coming across the screen. We'll come and we'll remove that dead animal. Also, if you have an animal who has passed away at your home, we prefer you to do it the legal way than to throw it into the gully, contaminate the gully, and then we have problems. Barbados, we love our environment. Let us care our environment. Therefore, the correct way to dispose of dead animals, call the number coming across the screen. We are here to help you. The SSA cares. Clean thoughts, clean living, clean nation.
My name is Trudy Griffith. I'm a pharmacist here at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, as well as being a point person for the medication delivery service. Let me share with you what you need to do to have your medication delivered. You need to either call our medication delivery hotline, and the number is 4804, or you can go on the hospital's website at www.qehconnect.com and click on the tab for medication delivery. The information that we need from you is your name, your national registration number, which you also call your ID number, your contact information. If we have 2 contact numbers for you, that's best. And we also need the names of the medications that you would wish to have delivered. Once you provide that information for us, we can process your order and have your medication delivered to you at whatever address. So you can have your medication delivered to your home, you can have it delivered to your workplace, or if you have someone in your household or a family member that needs some assistance, you can order their medication and have it delivered to them as well. The Queen Elizabeth Hospital has 2 providers that we utilize to deliver medication to you. We have Hopscotch Delivery, which is a private entity, and we also have the Barbados Postal Service. With Hopscotch Delivery, they offer cash on delivery, which means that when you have your medication delivered, you pay them the $10 delivery fee. When you have the Barbados Postal Service delivering your medication, you either pay the delivery fee at the post office, and they've also added a new option. You can pay via your debit card, and that delivery fee is either $10 or $16, and we will specify that to you when you call us, and we will let you know what the delivery fee is. You do not need to register to have your medication delivered. Once you call our hotline or you go on the website, we take the information that we need, and that's how you have your medication delivered. The personnel assigned to the medication delivery service work Monday through Friday. So if you need to have your medication delivered to you, look at your labels and see when last you got medication and count back 5 days, 5 business days. That is the time that you need to order your medication. And that is because we only operate on business days. So bear in mind, if weekends are going to be in there or you have public holidays, you need to add additional days to that. So remember, 5 business days is the minimum that we ask you to order your medication for delivery. When you order your medication, the person who's taking your order may not know that your medication is not due. And that's one of the reasons that will cause a delay in you receiving your medication. Remember that our system only allows us to process your medication up to 5 days before your medication is due. So if you order your medication earlier than that, that would cause a delay, but it's not really a delay. It just means that we have to wait until our system allows us to process your medication. Another reason your medication may not reach you when you expect is that if we have to contact the doctor to ask them a question or to clarify anything regarding your medication, then that would cause a delay as well. But what we will do is that we will contact you, let you know what is going on so that you understand what is happening. Now, the other thing that you need to be aware of is that you need to know when your prescription expires, because prescriptions have an expiry date. When we look at your prescription, we look at when it was written and how long it was written for. And if you are out of time, if your prescription has expired, then the pharmacy department is no longer authorized to send medication to you. And we will also communicate that with you, to you as well. The Queen Elizabeth Hospital provides services to all persons who present for care. However, there are some categories of patients who are required to pay for their medication. And if you are required to pay for your medication, unfortunately, we cannot facilitate your delivery. You will still have to come to the hospital and pay us directly for your medication. So for everyone who is entitled to medication under the Barbados National Drug Formulary, you can have your medication delivered. The only exception is those persons who have to pay for their medication. If you have a concern because your medication requires special storage considerations, that's not a concern for us. We have mechanisms in place to make sure that your medication is stored appropriately while it's being delivered to you. So you can have any medication delivered that you are entitled to under the National Drug Formulary. As a pharmacist, I have been working at the hospital since July 2005, and I have seen changes across the landscape of Barbados. I am seeing more persons live with diabetes, hypertension, and other non-communicable diseases, and therefore I am concerned that persons are not taking their medications appropriately. If you are not taking your medications appropriately, you are putting yourself at jeopardy for complications and actually presenting with advanced disease or requiring acute medical attention. And therefore, taking your medication is a smaller inconvenience than coming to the hospital and spending days here requiring increased level of care for your complications. So take advantage of the medication delivery service. Have your medications delivered straight to you. You have no excuse. You do not need to run out of medication. You can have your medications delivered straight to you. If you have any questions or concerns about your medication, please call our delivery hotline or even reach out to us on our website, and we will have a pharmacist call you back and speak to you about whatever concerns you have about your medications. If it is about how your medications work, how do you take it? Do you take it in the morning? Do you take it in the evening? Do you take it with food? Do you take it on an empty stomach? Those are concerns that you may have, and we are here to answer those questions for you. When you call the medication delivery hotline or you order your medication online, there's certain information that you are going to share with us. And that is information that we already have access to within the hospital. Because we utilize delivery providers who are not employed with the hospital, we need to share certain information with them. And we share the minimum amount of information that we need to in order to have your medication delivered. And that includes your name, your address, and your contact information. We do not share with them the names of your medications or what it is that the persons are taking. So therefore, we make sure that that information is kept strictly confidential and they are bound by a confidentiality agreement so that they're obligated not to share that information with anyone else. We have persons who go to clinic and they do not have the additional time to wait at the pharmacy to have their prescriptions processed. So you can leave your prescriptions in the clinic with the medical records clerk and indicate that you wish to have your medication delivered. That prescription will then be forwarded to the pharmacy and we will contact you and arrange to have your medication delivered. So a common misconception that persons may have is that if they have already utilized the medication delivery service, that they do not need to order their medication for the next month. However, you do. You need to call us every month that you need to have your medication delivered. As I said, call our delivery hotline or order your medications online and we will arrange to have your medications delivered straight to you.
There's so many benefits in taking advantage of this service, and from a clinical point of view, the most important thing is that people do not miss taking their medications. When someone runs out of medication because they can't make it in to the pharmacy in the hospital, they become what we call non-compliant. Not because that they're not taking their medication, because they ran out of the medication. And often, as I mentioned before, in the case of diabetes, in the case of cardiac disease, where someone may be on antihypertensive because they have elevated high blood pressure, these are the patients that we see coming into the A&E and therefore adding to the pressures on the system. So I think that taking full advantage to make sure that you have all your medications that you need, you never run out, you can remain compliant, to control that blood pressure, to control your blood sugar levels is so very, very important.